Your dog is scratching again. Right now, somewhere in your house, there's a dog, maybe yours, chewing at a paw, dragging its belly across the carpet, shaking its head for the 10th time this hour. And you've tried everything. The expensive shampoo, the vet-prescribed cream that worked for about a week and then stopped, the flea collar that did absolutely nothing for the tick that showed up behind your dog's ear last month. What if I told you the thing that actually helps isn't sitting on a pet store shelf? It's probably sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now. Stick around, because I'm going to show you exactly how to use it, and there's a mistake almost every owner makes with this ingredient that I'll warn you about before you try it yourself. Hi, I'm Dr. Waterling Lee. I've spent my career in small animal veterinary medicine, working with dogs and cats of every breed, age, and skin type you can imagine. And if there's one complaint I hear more than almost any other, it's this. Doctor, my dog won't stop itching, and nothing I buy seems to fix it. So today, I want to walk you through something simple. Not a miracle, not magic, just a basic kitchen ingredient, used the right way, that can make a real difference for a lot of dogs dealing with itchy skin and unwanted tick attention. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what it is, why it works, how to use it safely, and, this is important, when it's absolutely not enough and your dog needs something more. Let's start with the problem itself, because understanding why your dog itches is the key to actually solving it. Dog skin is different from human skin. It's thinner in some areas, more sensitive in others, and it's constantly exposed to grass, dirt, pollen, and whatever your dog decided to roll in this morning. When a dog scratches excessively, it's usually one of a few things: dry or irritated skin, an allergic reaction to something environmental like pollen or dust mites, a minor bacterial or yeast overgrowth on the skin's surface, or parasites, fleas, and ticks that are either biting directly or leaving behind saliva that triggers an allergic response. And here's the part most owners don't realize. Constant scratching doesn't just look uncomfortable. It actually damages the skin barrier further, which lets in more irritants, which causes even more itching. It's a cycle, and it feeds on itself. Most over-the-counter shampoos only address the surface, not the underlying imbalance that's driving the whole thing. That's where this one kitchen ingredient comes in: apple cider vinegar. Now, before you close this video thinking, I've heard this before, let me explain what most people get wrong about it, because the way you use apple cider vinegar makes all the difference between it helping your dog and irritating your dog further. I'm going to walk you through the exact ratio, the exact method, and the exact mistake that sends dogs to my clinic in discomfort instead of relief. Apple cider vinegar, when diluted correctly, does two things at once. First, it helps rebalance the pH of your dog's skin. Dog skin sits at a slightly different, more alkaline pH than human skin, and that natural balance is what keeps a lot of bacteria and yeast in check. When that balance shifts, often from allergies, humidity, or excess bathing with the wrong products, you get overgrowth, and overgrowth means itching. Diluted apple cider vinegar applied topically helps nudge that pH back toward where it should be, making the skin surface less hospitable to the organisms causing the irritation. Second, and this is the part that surprises most people, the acidity and scent profile of diluted vinegar is something ticks genuinely dislike. It won't replace a proper tick prevention program, and I'll be very clear about that later in this video. But as a supportive layer, especially before walks in tall grass or wooded areas, it can reduce how appealing your dog's skin is to a questing tick looking for a place to attach. Think of it less as a shield and more as making your dog a less attractive target. Here's exactly how I recommend using it, based on what I've seen work safely and consistently with patients in my own practice. Take 1 teaspoon of raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar. And unfiltered matters here because that cloudy sediment at the bottom of the bottle is where the beneficial compounds are concentrated. And dilute it into 1 full cup of warm water. That ratio matters, and I want you to remember it exactly. 1 teaspoon to 1 cup. Undiluted vinegar is far too acidic for a dog's skin and can cause a genuine burning sensation or irritation, especially on any area where the skin is already broken from scratching. This is the single most common mistake I see. Owners assume more concentrated means more effective, and it's the opposite. So please, don't skip the dilution step. Once it's mixed, you have 2 simple ways to apply it. You can pour it into a spray bottle and lightly mist your dog's coat, focusing on the areas where itching tends to concentrate: the belly, the base of the tail, between the paw pads and around the ears, avoiding the eyes completely. Or, if your dog tolerates baths well, you can use it as a final rinse after a regular bath, pouring it gently over the coat and letting it sit for about 5 minutes before a light rinse with plain water, or letting it air dry if your dog's skin isn't currently irritated or broken. I want to pause here and give you an important safety note, because this is where I see well-meaning owners run into trouble. If your dog has open sores, raw patches, or actively bleeding skin from scratching, do not apply this directly to those areas. Vinegar on broken skin will sting, and it can genuinely make your dog more distressed, not less. In that situation, the priority is calming the inflammation first, and that likely means a conversation with your vet about the underlying cause before you introduce anything topical. This remedy is best suited for maintenance and mild to moderate itching, not as a treatment for an active skin infection or open wound. Now let's talk frequency, because more is not better here. 2 to 3 times a week is the sweet spot for most dogs. Daily use, especially on dogs with already sensitive skin, can actually dry things out further and undo the benefit you're going for. Think of this as part of a rhythm, not a daily ritual. Consistency over intensity. Let's talk about the second half of that title, repelling ticks, because I don't want to oversell this to you, and I think you'll actually trust this video more once I'm fully honest with you about its limits. If you're in an area with a serious tick population, especially anywhere with a known risk of Lyme disease, ehrlichiosis, or other tick-borne illness, a diluted vinegar spray is a supportive habit, not a replacement for veterinarian-approved tick prevention. I say this because I've had clients come into my clinic months after switching entirely to home remedies, and unfortunately, some of their dogs had picked up ticks that a proper preventive product would have stopped. So here's how I want you to think about it. Use the vinegar rinse or spray as an added layer, particularly before hikes, walks through tall grass, or time spent in wooded yards. But keep your dog on whatever prevention protocol your vet has recommended for your specific region and risk level. This is about giving your dog extra support, not replacing proven protection. Let me also address something a lot of you are probably wondering right now. Does this work for every dog? Honestly, no. And I'd be doing you a disservice if I told you it did. Dogs with severe allergies, underlying autoimmune skin conditions, or chronic ear and skin infections need a proper diagnostic workup, not a home remedy. If your dog's itching has lasted more than 2 to 3 weeks, if you're noticing hair loss, if the skin looks red, thickened, or has an odor, please don't wait on this. That's your dog telling you it's time for a vet visit. What I'm sharing with you today is a genuinely helpful tool for everyday, garden variety itchiness, and as a supportive habit during tick season, not a substitute for proper veterinary care when something more serious is going on underneath the surface. Now here's something I don't think enough people talk about, and it ties directly into why this remedy works as well as it does. Your dog's coat type actually changes how you should apply this. Short-haired dogs generally do well with the spray method, since it's easy to get even coverage down to the skin. Long-haired or double-coated dogs often do better with the rinse after bath method, because a spray alone may sit on the surface of the fur without ever reaching the skin underneath, which is where the actual benefit happens. If you've tried this before and felt like it didn't do anything, this might be exactly why. The application didn't match your dog's coat. I also want to give you one bonus tip, because I think it'll make a real difference for a lot of you watching, especially heading into warmer months. After you apply the diluted vinegar rinse, take a moment to actually run your hands through your dog's coat, down to the skin, especially around the ears, armpits, and hindquarters. This does 2 things. It helps you catch any tick that may have already attached before it has a chance to embed fully, and it gives you a baseline for what your dog's normal skin looks and feels like, so if something changes, you'll notice it early, which makes any future vet visit faster and far more productive, because you'll be able to tell your vet exactly when something changed. One more thing worth mentioning. Some owners like to pair this with a light coconut oil application on particularly dry patches, once the vinegar rinse has fully dried. If you choose to do this, use it sparingly, a very small amount rubbed thin, because too much can leave the coat greasy and actually attract more dirt and debris. This isn't required, but for dogs with especially flaky or dry skin on top of the itching, it's a combination I've seen work well. I know some of you are already reaching for the apple cider vinegar in your pantry right now, and that's exactly the reaction I was hoping for, because this is genuinely one of the simplest, lowest cost tools you can add to your routine today. But I want you to promise me something. Start slow. Try it once, on a small patch of skin, and watch how your dog reacts over the next 24 hours before making it a regular habit. Every dog is different, and what works beautifully for one dog might not suit another, even within the same breed. If this video helped you, do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this information reach more dog owners who are dealing with exactly what you're dealing with right now. Sometimes at midnight, Googling the same question you had before you clicked on this video. And if you're new here, consider subscribing because I cover real, practical veterinary guidance like this every single week. No gimmicks, no fear-mongering, just what actually works and what actually matters for your dog's health and comfort. And I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, has your dog been dealing with itchy skin, or are ticks a bigger concern where you live? I read through these comments, and honestly, they often shape what I cover in future videos, because your dog's problems are the reason I make this content in the first place. Some of my best topics have come directly from questions you've asked me in the comments of past videos. Before I wrap up, let's recap quickly so you walk away with exactly what you need, because I don't want you to have to re-watch this to remember the details. 1 teaspoon of raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar diluted into 1 full cup of warm water. Apply as a spray or a post-bath rinse 2 to 3 times a week, matching the method to your dog's coat type. Avoid open wounds and broken skin completely. Use it as a supportive habit alongside your vet's tick prevention plan, not a replacement for it. And always keep an eye out for signs that something bigger is going on, because no home remedy, however helpful, replaces a proper diagnosis when your dog truly needs one. Caring for a dog with itchy, uncomfortable skin can feel overwhelming, especially when you've already tried products that promised the world and delivered very little. But small, consistent, well-informed habits, the kind we talked about today, really do add up over weeks and months. You know your dog better than any product label ever could, and by paying attention, adjusting gently, and partnering with your vet when something looks off, you're already doing exactly what a great dog owner does. That instinct that made you click on this video in the first place, that's the same instinct that's going to help your dog feel better. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll keep working together to help your dog live a happier, healthier, itch-free life.